Hello, Andrew here, America, stuck in Russia. So today I want to talk about Russian weather and especially spring because it's finally spring. It's April 5th. So for us to appreciate spring in Russia, you have to know about winter in Russia. Okay, everybody knows how horrible, harsh the winters are. So first, I want to compare it to what I've known in America. So yeah, I grew up in America. I spent 35, almost 40 years of my life in America, and we live in like New York, New Jersey, and yeah, we had good winters. A lot of snow, and it was really great playing in the snow and sledding and snow tubing and having snowball fights. And yeah, we love the snow. Um, and yeah, you can go skiing in the mountains nearby and everything. So, it's great. But in America, at least where I live, winter lasted like, it started maybe in the end of November, it started snowing. And then by the beginning of March, okay, I know they say March comes in like a lion and then goes out like a lamb. Yeah, okay. But like the second week of March already, everything starts melting, and by April 1st, what I remember, you have green grass and flowers everywhere, and it's spring already. Uh, in Russia, it snows in April. It snowed the other day, April 2nd, okay, at night, even though the weather was pretty nice during the day. So, well, yeah, Russian winters last like they start in the end of October and they go on to basically the end of April. It depends on the year. Some years are better. This year seems to be better. But yeah, having snowstorms in April is a normal thing in Russia. So, spring. So, of course, spring is a really big thing because we have such long winters. I mean, almost half the year is like cold in Russia. Half the year is definitely cold. Half the year is almost winter in Russia, depending on where you live, of course. So, what happens in the spring? Okay, because we have so much snow during the Russian winter. I mean, they're literally like mounds of snow 4 meters high, all right? And there's so much snow that everything starts melting, all right? And then everything just turns into a flood, all right? The streets are just flooded with water. The park turns into just rivers and lakes and a swamp, and it's actually it's actually cool. It's like an adventure. Me and my son go to the park every weekend, every Saturday, Sunday, and we've been going through the park, and it's just like an adventure, trying to meander through all the rivers and lakes, fields where we used to play football are just lakes now, right? And yeah, it's cool. It's fun, and just to see everything transforming so suddenly, right? And the snow all turning into water and everything getting flooded. Everything just gets flooded. You have to. You have to be like a sportsman, like a hiker, to get through the park without getting your shoes wet. If you're not wearing like rubber shoes or something, huh? And so yeah, spring. Russians have the spring festival, Maslenitsa, which is actually, well, it's a very ancient festival, pagan festival, spring festival, before Christianity. Uh, but now it's it's connected with Christianity, and it's the last week before Great Lent. Great Lent before Easter. And even though, I don't know, uh, most people I think in Russia are not really religious, or they just, consider it as a tradition or something, but Maslenitsa is like carnival, right? So it's a fun time where everybody's celebrating spring and eating pancakes, which in Russia they call blini. They're a little different from American pancakes because they're thinner, right? They're more like French crepes, a little thicker than French crepes. So they're in between American pancakes and French crepes. Um, and yeah, everybody eats a lot of blini and just have fun, go to the park and eat a lot of eggs and a lot of food that during Lent you're not supposed to eat. Although most Russians don't keep Lent, as far as I know, but a lot of them do. Um, Even like people that aren't so religious, just as a tradition. And so yeah, and the highlight of the festival is on the last Sunday of Masnitsa, where they take out a big scarecrow and have a big parade, and then they burn the scarecrow. And that's a very ancient tradition going back to pagan times, where they're like burning the effigy of winter, and spring is coming. Right? So, yeah, spring is a very nice time, but you never know when it's gonna come. I mean, you can have a snowstorm in the middle of April, and that'll be completely normal. You kind of don't know it's spring until the middle of May. Then you can kind of be like, okay, it's not going to snow anymore. Even though in June, in the middle of June, I was up in a little more north of Russia, Mirichta, right? And it was June, and we were having like a barbecue outside, and I was freezing. It was on the Volga River, of which I have pictures of it. I'm in a winter coat and just absolutely freezing. And that was in the middle of June. And yeah, summer can be very cold. Many years already, summer has been so cold, just windy and rainy and cold and very unpleasant. Um, so if we're lucky, we get like a month of good summer weather. If we're really lucky, 2 months of summer weather. Already in August, in Europe, like August is like the hottest month of the year in America also. But in Russia already, August, the weather starts cooling down like immediately. August 1st, well, you can have a first week of August, maybe if you're lucky, 2 weeks of August where it's still like summer, but then it immediately starts cooling down and turning into autumn. Um, so now we have short summers, long winters. So temperatures. Okay, we talked about temperatures. So I'm used to already talking in Celsius all the time. So if we talk about winter, Um, I remember growing up in like New York, New Jersey area. We had a lot of snow and all, and it was fun playing in the snow. I think I said that already. Um, but temperatures were like 20 degrees or something. I remember listening to like the weather forecast, and they said it's going to be freezing cold. It's going to go down into the teens. Uh, that's considered warm in Russia. Okay. Okay. Like 19 is -7 in Celsius, right? That's considered spring in Russia. Okay. Average temperature of Russian winter is okay, I'm used to talking in Celsius, so minus 15, yeah, minus 20. That's average. 25. average. Okay, Russians only think that it's cold when it gets -30 or more. And so, yeah, some of my teens, students, like say, yeah, I wear a spring coat all year round because Russians are used to the cold. And 12 years I've been here, I just can't still get used to it. But Russians are used to the cold. It doesn't really bother them, you know? And they're just, I guess maybe genetically or something, just used to it, or their body is used to it. And it doesn't bother them. And they love it. They love, like, extreme cold. And they're like, yeah, Russian winter. It's like on New Year's, I went outside, and some people who knew I was American was like, "Americanians, is it cold enough for you? This is New Year's winter." I'm like, "Yeah, it's cold enough for me because it was like -30." So yeah, Russians are winter used to really cold winters. They go swimming. They break a hole in the ice and they go swimming in freezing cold water. And there's also a religious festival, a theophany, or the like baptism of Christ, when they break a hole in the ice and they go and they dunk themselves in the ice several times, at least 3 times, in the freezing cold water. I've never done that, but a lot of people I know have done that. And so, yeah, it's another kind of tradition. Yeah, it's another definite tradition. Um, to like, it's like in remembrance of Jesus's baptism. So you dunk yourself in freezing cold water. But actually, what I've been told, the water is warmer than the outside air. Like that outside air might be, -30, but the water beneath the ice, it's not frozen, so it's actually less than 0 degrees. But yeah, other Russians like to, they go to the sauna, which they call the banya, right? And then after really getting really hot in the really hot saunas, they go out and roll in the snow, usually naked, and then they go dig a hole in the ice and jump in the freezing cold water and then go back into the sauna. So it's, yeah, like interesting, cool traditions that they have. And as far as winter and spring, and yeah, I like it. But I miss long summers and short but cool winters, or not short, 3 month winters, okay? And then it's like, okay, once warm weather again and sun. And so yeah. One time, maybe I said this already, but I'll say it shortly. We went for like my dad and I a 4 day 4 ride to Siberia in the middle of winter, and it was -40 degrees. And I couldn't even breathe. I had to cover my hand with my scarf, my mouth with my scarf, and so yeah, it can get really cold. But spring is a wonderful time. But it's also a time of flooding, water everywhere. I mean, you have to be like an acrobat not to get your feet soaking wet, because everything's just dripping wet. But yeah, it's a wonderful time because finally the horrific winter is over. But Russians love their winter. They love their winter. And they're very proud of how cold their winter is and everything. But yeah, it's hard for me to get used to it. I still can't. So that's about Russian winter. I wish the summers were a bit longer and they just go by so quickly. Uh, Russian winters seem to last forever, But spring and summer just like seem to fly by, and all of a sudden it's autumn again, and it gets cold. So yeah, but the Russians, I used to, and they like it. Okay, see you next time. Goodbye from Russia.